All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. In somewhat of a shocker, Sean McVay has let it be known that he will be returning in 2023 to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. After Sunday's season finale loss to the Seattle Seahawks, there was speculation that McVay would be stepping away from the Rams, which further intensified when McVay himself gave his coaching staff the green light to pursue jobs with other teams. Now, McVay is making in the area of $14 million per year to coach the Rams. And the big commentating jobs, if he did decide to step away from the sidelines right now at the big networks, are currently occupied. So it made it more likely for him to come back. Now, even with that said, it seemed like the time was right for McVay to exit stage right with what the Rams have ahead of them, as it's going to be a long road back to once again being Super Bowl champions. Now, obviously, we saw the Rams go all in to win the Super Bowl, but all of that is catching up to them right now. The Rams have not had a first round selection in the NFL draft since 2016. And this year's selection, which is sixth overall, is property of the Detroit Lions due to the acquisition of quarterback Matthew Stafford. Now, aside from not having a pick in round one this year, Los Angeles does not have a fourth, fifth, or seventh round pick, as this year's rookie camp for the Rams could look like a college team that has a scholarship reduction and they're on probation. The Rams have also gotten older. Stafford is going to be 35 years of age next month, and he also has an injury history. Wide receiver Cooper Kupp, who had a season for the ages in 2021, is coming off of ankle surgery. Aaron Donald, the all world defensive tackle, will be 32 in May, and he missed 6 games this season. And the icing on the cake is that the Rams are expected to be about $11 million over the salary cap for next season. And when you put all of this together, especially being that these are the guys who a lot of your money is tied to, this is not a recipe for success. Now, of course, I brought this up during the season for the Rams. Would they want to make some trades? And would they want to trade a player such as cornerback Jalen Ramsey? Ramsey has a high contract right now, but on top of that, he can bring back some value if you're the Rams and you want to try to diminish some of your financial strains as it is. But then also, you can get some picks back for a guy like Jalen Ramsey because he's still one of the better cover corners in the National Football League. The Rams need the picks, and they also got to get under the cap. That's a big thing. And then also on the offensive side of the ball, Los Angeles has to fix their running game. They got to start with the offensive line. We saw that unit get exposed throughout this season. They Ram quarterbacks were sacked 59 times this past season. And then on top of that, with the running game, they need a running game to complement their passing attack. LA was 27th in the NFL in rushing this past season, and that has to improve for the Rams to get more balance and importantly, get back on track. This Rams team, in my opinion, is going to look totally different next season for a variety of reasons. You're not going to bring back a lot of guys after you just had a losing season, especially when you're coming off of winning the Super Bowl in the previous one. The salary cap issue, the age, all of that stuff is going to factor in. And then you also have to ask yourself, is this going to be a year to year thing for Sean McVay as far as him playing the will he, won't he game? Because remember, this time last year, when the Rams were about to take the stage for the Super Bowl, there was speculation that McVay could step away due to burnout, and he didn't. He came back, and now you're hearing it again. And I could understand why McVay came back for this season because he wanted to run it back. The Rams wanted to run it back. The Rams felt that they had a team capable of doing it, but they took a huge blow in free agency when Von Miller left to join the Buffalo Bills. Because go back to last season when the Rams acquired Von Miller from the Denver Broncos, he was that missing piece defensively because now, due to his ability to rush the passer, you could no longer double and triple team Aaron Donald like teams did in the past. It was kind of like pick your poison. So losing him left a void on that championship defense. You bring in a Bobby Wagner who was a steadying force at linebacker, but they still missed out on not having Von Miller. Andrew Whitworth retiring, and the offensive line went to shambles. So we saw it from the week 1 loss when they got blown out at home by the Buffalo Bills. It was a downhill effect from there. Then the injuries started to happen, finger pointing, you name it. And before it was all said and done, this season got away from them. So I could understand McVay coming back this year to run it back. But even with that said, a rebuild for these Rams could take time. And you just have to wonder if McVay wants to be in it for the long term. Now, like McVay, general manager Les Snead received an extension after the Rams won the championship last year, and now he's got his work cut out for him as far as developing this team. And as for Rams owner Stan Kroenke, he just had to fork over close to $600 million to the city of St. Louis for that settlement when he decided to up and leave. When he still had a lease for the name is slipping me right now. I'm thinking about the old name when the Rams first started playing there, the TWA Dome. I know it's not that anymore, but nonetheless, he broke that lease to move the Rams back to Los Angeles, and the city of St. Louis took him to court and won. The NFL, they paid more than $200 million, but the owner said, "Listen, you have to pay the rest." So you just really have to wonder if the Rams are going to be in a belt tightening mode for now and the next couple of years. We got to wait and see. What is the state of the Rams, in my opinion? To me, I think this is a team in flux, and I think they're going to take a step back to try to be a little bit more financially savvy in the next couple of years. My opinion. You look at this thing as a whole, what happens with McVay? I think this is going to be a year to year thing. I really do. I think we're going to be playing the will he, won't he game for the next couple of years with Sean McVay. It's going to be interested to see how the Rams do in the draft this upcoming year. What can they do in free agency? What can they do in trades? And the youngsters that the Rams are able to bring in, how will they be able to develop them? And how quickly will they develop as well? I think all of those things are going to be in a factor in McVay, excuse me, and McVay's decision going long term. So it's going to be an interesting off season for the Rams. Again, some guys that finished the season with this team, I don't think that are going to be there. They're going to be there for next season. Some people who have been long term staples for this team over recent years might not be there as well. But you know what? That's the nature of the business. Like I said before, a couple of months ago, the Rams pushed all of their chips to the table and they succeeded because we've seen teams, regardless of the sport, who, you know what, they go all in and they don't even come close to winning. In the Rams case, they did go all in and they won their championship for the 2021 NFL season. But nonetheless, that bill has come due. And let's see how the Rams are going to go about taking care of this. But nonetheless, McVay is back, but for how long? So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There is also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.